The Quarry, Louisville, Kentucky, 1926. I didn't realize that I owed my survival, time and again, not to my own strength, but to certain imponderable forces that repeatedly rescued me from what can be described as death traps. Something appeared to be interested in saving me from my attackers. James Shelby Downard, Carnivals of Life and Death. Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I wanted to tell everyone that would inquire that I received a letter from the Department of Homeland Security. It's a 2-page letter, and in this letter, Homeland Security tells me that they are forwarding my request, as Vocal Brush told us, and as I believe one other person received a letter back in reply to our FOIA on the FEMA camps and all of the attendant things with it. So I did receive my letter. It's dated April 27th. So remind me on May 27th that if I have not received a response, and you'll know about it if I do, if I have not received any response by May 27th, my plan is to contact each one of the individual departments that my request has been forwarded to. I'm going to contact them directly after 30 days. That's my plan, and I suggest that anybody else who has received a reply, who has decided to do this, also do the same thing. Wait 30 days and contact the agencies directly. In this issue, I want to talk about smart grids and how they are poised to be the next evolution in population control. And leading into this, I want to ask you all a question. Why do you suppose whenever there is a discussion about the elites that run everything behind the scenes, and we all know who they are, why do you suppose it is that those people hate humans so fucking much? Why do you suppose that would be? Wouldn't you think that being a human, you would at least have a certain amount of respect for your fellow man? Now, I'm not going to pose at any reasons as to why that would be, but I think it's a good question for you to ask yourself. Why do they hate us so much? Why do they want to eliminate so many fucking people on this earth? Just ask yourself that question and think about it. Now, smart grids. I was thinking about how the control mechanisms that have been put into place around us in this country and around the world have evolved over time, but certainly they've also branched out into varied and very efficient and very different techniques of fucking control. Now, there are a lot of people who are focused on one particular area to tackle, and I say we cannot afford to be so fucking focused on one thing, because the control mechanisms that are being put into place, that are already in place, they infiltrate every fucking area of our lives. Okay, so if you're a person who thinks that the Second Amendment is something that you absolutely have to focus on because it is vitally important, you can't just focus on the fucking Second Amendment and your right to have a gun. You stay focused on that, but you have to put some attention to other areas as well, because one issue identity is not going to save anybody. We have to be on the lookout for every fucking thing that there is. And if you want to say, okay, well, me and this group will go over here and we'll fight this battle. Me and this group will go over here and fight that battle. That's fine. But if you're looking at it from an individual perspective, you can't afford to stay completely focused on one idea. You have to look at everything. And that's what I try to do. I try to look at every fucking avenue. So I haven't heard a lot about these smart grids. And the smart grids are where they have very accurate computerized control of the flow of of material from one place to another. Now, where this is particularly apt in this case is, like, say, your water, your gas, your sewage, everything that you have that's going into your house. Where they have the smart grid installed, you'll no longer have like your own meter at your house. You won't have a gas meter. You won't have a water meter. All of these things will be controlled through this access point, through this smart grid technology. And if they want to shut you off for whatever reason, if you don't pay your bill, they'll shut you off at a remote location, so there's no possibility of even overriding that. Now, I remember when I was a kid, we had our gas and our water shut off several times. And what they would do is they would come out, they would shut off your meter, and they would put a little seal on there. Well, you could cut that off and turn it back on, which we did a few times, I must say. But with this technology, they're not going to be able to do that. Now, you might say, well, how can this really be population control? Very simply, because the elites are so keen on telling you what you can and cannot fucking have. Do you think that it is a small step for them to go from having this carbon cap and trade fucking bullshit to then make a little fucking step to say, well, you know what's reasonable for one person to have for water for a day? So, if you exceed your fucking limit for the month, they'll shut you off. If you've used too much fucking gas to heat your house, they'll shut you off. Not to mention if you don't pay your bill, they'll shut you off. It's the easiest, best fucking way to put in a form of fucking rationing that I've seen in a long time. And if they decide through this ridiculous fucking notion of cap and trade and carbon and all this other bullshit that they're trying to shove down our fucking throats, that they come to a conclusion that you're only allowed to have 2 gallons of water a fucking day, or something equally fucking ridiculous, do not think for one fucking second that they're not going to be monitoring everything that is going into your fucking house. And when they decide you've had enough, they're going to shut you off. And if you've used all your fucking water for the month in 1 week, well, guess what, buddy? You got 3 fucking weeks to go where you got fucking nothing. That is a new and very enhanced method of population control. And it's coming to a town near you very fucking soon. So be on the lookout for it. Spread yourself out a little bit. Realize the problem is bigger than just one issue. Yes, gun control is vitally important, but there are other vitally important things too. Thank you. Good night.